Welcome everyone to our studio. We are live from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. I am Nikki Check, Alexa Anderson, and I am super excited to have Nicole Havrda with us here in studio. Welcome, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Tell us what you're doing here today.
Yeah, so I'm here with Mercedes-Benz, and we are doing an event for the Big Brothers Big Sisters, and to showcase, we have a new dealership here, and to just, inspire the younger generation, and, show them that they can get into automotive careers.
So private event, Mercedes-Benz, Big Brothers and Big Sisters is going to be there, and you're going to be accessible to the girls or people at that event so that they can ask you all kinds of questions on racing.
Yeah, exactly, and I'll just be sharing my story as well as trying to inspire them and talk to them about, any questions they have, because I know when I was young, I had so many questions about how to get into the automotive careers and all this kind of stuff.
Tell us what you do.
Yeah, so I am a professional race car driver. Currently, I'm racing in Formula 3, and I'm just trying to make my way up the racing ladder to Formula 1.
Nicole, you're 18.
Yeah.
You just said, I'm a Formula 3 race car driver. That's inspiring.
It's definitely a long journey, and just coming up here, and I can't thank my parents enough. They're my biggest supports, and I can never miss them out on this. So.
No, I'm kudos to you for giving credit to your parents in your journey. So you are 18 right now. What day or what moment did you get into something that moves? That you went fast and went, oh my gosh, I need to do this. What was it?
Well, so
what is it?
I always did rental karting with my friends, but I never was into cars or anything. My parents drove sports cars on the racetrack sometimes, but I actually wanted to be an Olympic swimmer, so I was really focused on that until my parents brought me to a Formula 1 race. And I didn't want to go at all. I was like, I don't want to watch it. That's going to be weird. And when I first came there, I was I heard a sound, and it just, it sparked. I just, fell in love with it. It was love at first sight.
Yeah.
And I got into it. I started contacting people, and then got into go-karting, and then from there, went to here.
How old were you?
I started rental karting at 10, and then I was 12.
So where was the Formula 1 race? What town?
It was in Austria. So the Red Bull Ring. Beautiful track.
Amazing. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, it's
You're
beautiful.
10 and you're in Austria
Yeah.
with your parents at a race car track.
Yeah, it was amazing. The experience, the atmosphere, everything, just the sound, the cars going by.
So Nicole, you're how do you go from Austria to coming back home? Was it conversations on the plane with your parents? How did you, at 10 or 12, how did you say, I want to do this? What was the step over to go-karting? Is that, did I say that right?
So I just wanted to be in Formula 1 right away. But of course, you have to go through the steps, of course. So I started reaching out. I had no idea. My parents were, and they didn't know the steps you have to take. So I actually started reaching out to local racetracks. And from there, I did a driving school. Yes. So I started doing a driving school, and then racing is all about connections. So I got connected with the go-karting team, and it all went from there.
So are you at 10 racing with girls, or are you racing with guys?
Mainly
or boys,
guys.
I guess boys.
Yeah, boys.
10-year-olds are boys.
Yeah, mainly boys, because back then I was you didn't see many girls at the track. Now you definitely see more younger girls.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's definitely a male-dominated sport as well. So
yeah, so maybe if you can talk about that, being a female in this sport, do you find yourself maybe that you have an advantage being a female in this sport? Or do you find yourself struggling sometimes because you are maybe to compete?
Yeah, well, I always try not to think about that, because it's I always say you put your helmet on and you're just another racer, right? So it doesn't really matter at that point, and the car is basically, you're just working with the car. So obviously there are differences and stuff, social media is a big one, as well as on the track with racing teams and stuff. But I honestly just take it the same, I guess, any sport.
Yeah.
So Nicole, I'm curious. If we call race car driving a sport, there's certain disciplines and practices and routines that you do to be able to compete. If you're a hockey player, you want to practice shooting top right corner, if that's not a strength. So where did you go as a resource to figure out what the steps are that you have? And the question that I'm getting at is, I read somewhere, researching you, that 20% of the race is won on the track and 80% is off track. To talk us through that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly so. I've gone through a variety of things to help me like get better in racing. And right now, I have a personal trainer that helps me get ready, and they prepare me, before the race, what to do and like to be in the right zone, because it's all about like mental as well as physical, which is a big thing. And if you lack those two, you're not going to be good on the racetrack. And so the one thing, like compared to other sports, the difference is like hockey, you can practice all the time because like you have a hockey rink in your town. But racing, the tracks are like for me in the States. So I have to go all the way to America just to race, and I'm not there all the time. So just definitely in the gym as well. I have a simulator at home, so I always practice in the simulator, which is definitely not the same thing, but it's very similar. You learn the racetracks and you're learning like racecraft, so you're constantly racing.
So is this, when you're racing, is it physically taxing?
Yeah,
Is
a
it?
lot, especially in like the heat. Like the hottest day I got in a car was, I think it was like 42 degrees
Oh my
in
gosh.
California. I was melting. The car was melting
Oh.
too. But like, yeah, it's definitely physically demanding. Your neck is always sore. Even if you keep working out, you're just sore. So it's definitely a demanding sport.
From the speed?
Well, so
Or
the G
what?
forces. So the G forces are a big one, as well as like the strength to hold the steering wheel is really high because you don't have like power steering
Yeah.
as like normal cars. So it's definitely very like physically demanding on your like upper body and stuff. So
Okay, so then I also read you wanted to be, a driver wants to be petite. How do you be petite and be strong to handle the steering wheel? And then, if I can layer in another challenge, how do you be strong enough or more strong than your male competitors
at the
on
end
the
of the day,
track?
you just have to work out more. Like you always have to find time to work out more. And the thing with racing, so it's not the big muscles you're working out. You're working out all the little ones. So you don't want to get big like doing your biceps and stuff because you don't want to have that kind of,
Restriction or
yeah,
bulk?
exactly. So you got to work out like the little muscles in your kind of arms and your neck as well. So you definitely don't want to be big. You want to be short and just petite, basically.
Like
So
perfect size.
yeah.
You're the perfect size.
Yeah, so it's definitely a big thing, and you definitely see. I remember you can be a good racer even if you're tall. Like I know a lot of racers that are really tall.
Yeah.
Like I mean George
Yeah,
Russell
I was just gonna
in
say.
F1.
Yeah. I'm like, a lot of those guys on those seem tall. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's definitely petite. Like you can see his muscles and like his arms.
Yeah.
But they have muscles, right?
So you had a first female ever win in Formula Pro USA Western FR Championship. How talk to me in that moment. You're about to start racing. What's your mental before the game or game? See, before the race
Yeah.
or during the race? What are you thinking? What's your focus? What's your mental?
Yeah, so that race was very difficult. So I'll back it up a little. I had the race before that, I had a huge crash. And the car, yeah.
I
so the so at that race, the last race for the championship win, I had like problems with the car because after the crash, everything just kept getting like more like worse because we didn't fully fix it. We definitely did, but like there are always little things. And so during the race, I was so there's two races that weekend. The first race I didn't finish because I had a mechanical failure, which upset me a lot because I was like, I have to win the next race to be able to win the championship. And so the pressure for the next race was basically me just saying to the car, "You can do it. Like just don't fall, like don't break or anything." because I had to win that race or else I would lose the championship. So usually when you're going into a championship for the last race, you're more thinking like, how can I, win? Like you, not the car, right?
Interesting.
So I was focusing on the car a lot. I was just like, you can hold on, like just keep going and stuff. And it was definitely a season, like a crazy season. That was a special race as well because my brother came to my first race in a race car. He's never watched me race in my Formula 3 car. So it was really cool to have him there because like his support, he's into cars as well. And yeah, he's just an amazing support.
Older or younger brother?
Older. He's 32, so we have a really big gap, but we connect a lot.
Okay. So, Nicole, you're talking to the car. You're coaxing it to see you through this. How much of the race is strategy now? How is there chess-like
Yeah, for
on
sure.
the track? So you have to take your attention away from the car. You've talked to the car. You've decided that it's going to see you through this. Now you move into strategy.
Yeah, I'm basically just trying to figure out like that race I started in I think it was second place and I was just trying to fight for first place and I got a really good start so I passed the guy in first place and I was just trying to like keep him behind me. That's like the only thing you're thinking. But you're also trying not to look in the mirrors because you want to focus ahead of you. So I'm just trying to focus ahead of me to stay calm because like the hardest place is first place because you don't want to be looking behind you. And some people do look behind them and then they get distracted and then they start messing up. So the easiest place is honestly second place because you try to keep fighting to pass the next guy.
Oh, that's fascinating. Does the simulator
Yes.
help
A
you
lot.
with that?
A lot. Like a lot because you don't care about damage, but you're constantly racing. So like you can go race random guys around the world and you can just battle wheel to wheel and it's definitely a lot of help. It's helped me a lot.
Your near fatal crash. How do you convince your parents that you should do this? And how do they
let you do
support you to do this? And your brother. I mean, that's
Yes.
as a parent, that's scary.
Yeah. Well, for me, in that instance, I was definitely disappointed that like I crashed. I was like upset. And my parents took it a very interesting way because usually they would be either like sad or emotional, but of course they probably were a little bit, but they were more there to support me, like if I'm okay, if I'm in pain and all that stuff. And then they were like right away, the whole team and my parents, they got on to fixing the car.
Immediately.
That's the only thing they were thinking about.
So you okay? You're good? Good car.
Basically,
okay.
yeah.
It's like that life lesson when you're little. You fall down like on a bike or you maybe have a horse and you fall off your horse. The worst thing to do is not get back in that car or on that bike. Or
no, exactly.
Yeah. I just want to deviate for a minute away from the actual racing and kind of ask some questions around a goalpost. What is your ultimate goal that you have your sights set on right now?
Obviously Formula One. But right now for short-term goal, I would like to win the championship this year in Formula Regional Americas. And if you win that championship, you get a scholarship for basically almost $1 million. So it's a really big and important thing that I really want to, win. So it helped me in the future because money is a big thing in racing.
So let's talk about that. There's again, are your parents entrepreneurial?
Yeah.
Are they okay?
Yes, they own a business.
So this is a business. This is a business, and it needs funding. And so you're going to fund this business through winning and through sponsors. Yes?
Yes.
Is there any other ways that you're funded? Are there donations? Are there fan clubs? Are there shirts?
Yes.
Merchandise? How do you fund this?
So I actually just got, last year I started a donation site. There's definitely like a little money and just like friends here and there. But the biggest thing is sponsors for sure. It's like the biggest one. And I can't thank my sponsors enough for helping me. But my parents are number one, like They're helping me through everything, and there's a lot going on, right? And the worst part is that racing, as you said, is like 20% of it, and then everything behind the scenes is a lot. Like, we're constantly emailing, we're constantly reaching out for more sponsors. We're trying to keep my sponsors currently engaged as well, because social media, if you can use it the right way, you can get more sponsors, and you can also help your own sponsors. So money is definitely a big one. We concentrate on a lot, and like you said, my dad talks about all the time. He's like, he takes this as a business, not as a hobby.
So Nicole, you have 50,000 followers on your Instagram. I think your documentary, which you're filming right now, is going to be coming out
June 7th.
Oh, so June 7th.
So actually, Montreal Grand Prix.
Nice.
F1 Grand Prix. It will be that day.
So where can we go watch the documentary?
I'm trying to get more info on that.
Okay.
So it will be on
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Okay. The more your message gets out there, the more you interview, the more you race, the more you win. Obviously, the more fans equals more attention and eyeballs and more sponsors.
Yeah, exactly.
So our immediate goal is our win in June. That's what we're focusing on.
Yeah, exactly.
There has to be tons and tons of girls that look at you and they want to be just like you. How do you...
I want to be like Nicole. I was like, racing? Sounds amazing.
So how do you... that's a big responsibility, and maybe bigger than maybe you realize yet. There's a responsibility for you to always be on and to choose right and to be a positive role model. How heavy is that weight for you to shoulder? Or do you how well do you know it or see it?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I try to be also myself, because like showing the younger audience that you can just be yourself in like whatever career path you take is super important, because you don't want to be someone that you're not. And if you are acting, then it kind of changes as well, like how you feel. And like I try to take this, like I love inspiring the younger generation, because I always wanted, like, you know, when I was young, I wish I could I did look up to someone like Danica Patrick.
I was gonna say Danica.
Yeah, so I had the same thing, and I just want to give it back and like show the younger girls that you can also be inspired by older girls like myself. And you know, I just want to share my journey, of course. And it's just amazing to see the younger girls look up to me, like at the go-kart tracks. It's cool to see them, and they're always so happy. And on social media as well, there's so many young girls on there just like asking me, like, how do I get into racing? I want to be in racing, and or how I got into it, or what I'm doing. So it's cool seeing all that.
Nicole, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you would like to share? It can be a shout out on your sponsors. It can be an inspiration piece or a moment that had a big impact for me. Anything that you want to share with us before we close off today?
I just want to say, like, if you are looking to like a career, just go after it. And if you're so passionate about it, just go get it. Like, what's holding you back at the end of the day? Like, of course, I've had so many losses and like downs, but there are also ups, and you feel so good when you are winning that race, or you are getting that really big deal. And like, just go after it and stay passionate to that one thing, even if it's many.
Nicole, I guarantee you already had a fan in Alexa. Well, I know you have a fan in me, and I'm so excited to watch your journey. I'm going to connect with you on all your channels.
And maybe we can have her back when she wins her race in June.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I do have a question. Who's your favorite driver right now? Who are you cheering for?
I've always, since I was little, I've always watched Lewis Hamilton.
Yes.
So he's definitely my favorite. I had an interview with him as well on
that's
TSN,
amazing.
which was
that's exciting.
Amazing.
How'd you keep it together?
Oh my gosh, it was a really bad start because I went to shake his hand to introduce myself. I almost tripped over the wire because there's a wire connected to my foot with the mic. Yeah. So it was definitely a little nerve-wracking. And it's like, when you see him in person, it's like, is that really you?
Yeah.
But we connected on so many things. It was so nice.
Oh, good. So you have mentorship from the males as well, which is
of
awesome
course.
to see support.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nicole,
Can't wait to
thank
see
you
you
so
win.
much for coming into studio. Thank you for spending time with us today. Have an incredible evening at your private event this evening. Thank you for coming to Kelowna, and we hope to see and hear more of you very soon.
Of course.
And wish
Thank
you all the
you.
best.
Yeah,
Thank you.